Statue of Liberty started shaking her fist, and the eagle will fly, and it's gonna be here. I brought to you courtesy of the red, white, and blue.
It's time for Veterans Issues, the show that brings you information about veterans, military, and their family. Now here's your host, Ken Rollins.
Welcome to Veterans Issues. Today is going to be a great day. I've been trying to get this guest for so many years, but anyhow, she's here with us, and this is today's guest is Fran Curry. Yes, that Fran Curry, and we'll be right back to talk with Fran, find out what she's been doing and what she's going to be doing in the future. So stay where you are. I'll be right back. Welcome back in. Ken Rollins here, and today's guest is a friend of mine from a long time ago, and I won't tell you how long because it'll give away her age. But she's a very dear friend, and she's a friend to all of you out there that's been watching television anytime last 20 years. You know this lady, you know her name. Her name is Fran Curry. Welcome to the show, Fran Curry.
Thank you, Ken Rollins. Great to see you, and thank you for having me.
It's good to see you. I can't, I was kind of giddy about today. I haven't seen you in a long time, and I've had so much respect for you. We could go on and on throwing the kudos, and we probably will before the show's over.
Well, I appreciate it.
I'll just go back that I first met you when you would you be a field reporter?
Right, I was a field reporter in the eastern region of Alabama.
In that big old office that you had here. I was talking to someone earlier about, I don't think my closet's probably bigger than your office was.
Yeah, we were over there with the really sweet people, though, at WDNG, where we were, the Bureau continued, East Alabama Bureau continued after I left, but together, Bill Gill and I were together for about 2.5 years in the Anniston Bureau. That
little old bitty guy.
From a football player.
Yeah. Big old awesome. I mean, he's huge. He's a good guy. I like Bill.
Great man.
But that was when you started out, and at the time you were starting out, I had just started the Vietnam Veterans of America.
Right.
And you were looking for stories. The more stories you did here, the better you get yourself to Birmingham where the big stuff was.
Right.
So we worked together on a lot of things, and we was talking about some of them out here that we had ceremonies. You covered a lot. You remember any of that stuff?
I remember it very well. I've always had a heart for veterans, a great love for veterans. My dad was a World War II veteran, and so we traveled a lot up to D.C. and saw everything that was related to all that people had done to establish this nation. So when I met you, you were an instant friend. You know, my Vietnam vet buddy is going to bail me out on a good story today.
Yeah, well, it works that way. It's you're trying to find something. What are we going to do? It's a bad news day. I got something. Okay, I remember one time one of the other stations, guy come up to me and said, "You got anything going on for Flag Day?" I said, "We certainly do."
Yeah.
He said, "What you going to do?" I said, "We're going to burn flags." What?
Oh, my goodness.
Now, here's a headline, Vietnam veteran burning flags, you know, and burning flags is the most respectable way to retire a flag, unserviceable flag. Well, he showed up at the place that we were burning the flag.
Oh, boy.
And he said, "You got me, you got me."
Got me good.
But it was a lead-in news for that show that night.
Right.
But sometimes you have to do what you can do to get them there. I had something for sale. I was trying to sell veterans. It's okay to be a veteran.
That's right.
And I needed y'all, and you needed stories. So, at some point you left Anniston, or they're Anniston. Well, let me back up some. You're from this area, from
I'm from
our coverage area.
That's right. I'm from Talladega, born and raised there. Graduated at Talladega High School in 1984. I had a wonderful high school class. We are coming up on, I can't even believe I'm about to say this, our 30th reunion is next year.
Really?
And we were talking, and some of us were talking the other day about how time has flown by. One of my best memories is being able to work in this area, being able to do news, a lot of good news, a lot of other interesting stories in this area, but just being at home was awesome.
To the fellow that told me she's from Montgomery, you just heard her say she's Talladega.
Talladega.
How do they get Montgomery? You wasn't from Montford?
No.
Okay, good.
No.
He argued me, said, "Oh, she's not from Talladega, she's from Montford." So.
No, sorry. Sorry. Can't do that. I got relatives in Oxford, my aunt and uncle in Oxford, but sorry, no Montford there.
Yeah. Well, I've seen on Facebook, I've seen some, I think I know all your family. I've seen at least one of them's picture at some time or other. You know,
Right.
you face them. But backing up, you went to you left here. You went to Birmingham to Channel 13.
That's right,
At
exactly.
some point. You remember what year that was?
It would have been, I got the promotion in 92.
92.
Right, and it was a wonderful opportunity to have been here because I learned the tough ways a reporter learns here. My degree is in journalism and political science, and you can go to class forever, but until you hit the streets to do stories, you have no idea what it's like to be a reporter, and it was great to get to learn that at home. And I went to Birmingham, it was about 92, and when I went back, I started anchoring. I did morning cut-ins during the Today Show, and then after that, I started doing the midday news, but I was also a reporter, and it just kind of went from there to more than 18 years at 13.
Wow, 18. I didn't know it was that
18.
long. I just knew that your face was synonymous with the news. And that when you was at 13, we call them the big boys. Did you get to meet some very interesting people other than local people?
I did. For most of the time I was in Birmingham, we were owned by NBC. So we're what's called an owned and operated station. So there were always people from the network down. We had a big story that we did and a new studio dedicated and things like that. And so Brian Williams was down for a couple of weeks with us. So that may have been one of the more exciting times.
Yeah.
Another time we got to fly up to New York to go to the Today Show and shoot promos. So Katie was there and Matt and Al and Ann. So that was a very interesting time, and you think it's all what you want it to be. And so I'm grateful to say that I got to do that.
Sure.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't, and it's you may not like Brian or Katie, whatever, but they have gone on to do phenomenal stuff, and it for a reporter, it's that's the optimal thing you want to do is to be around the big boys and the big girls. Yeah, they do it. I can remember going out to CBS out there to the Dinah Shore show. You remember Dinah Shore?
I remember
Watch
Dinah
that, you
Shore.
get-
I
watch it.
do. I was like 3, but I remember Dinah Shore.
I had to go out there with a guy named Red Savine, and they had country music, pop music, soul, and they had all the different. They had Red was on there for country, Lou Rawls on there for what it's R&B, I guess, and they had the OJs,
Yeah.
and then a guy named Morris Albert had Feelings. Remember that?
Yes, I do remember that.
And I was standing backstage at the hors d'oeuvres thing, the green room. And Lou Rawls came up, how you doing, brother, you know? And he asked me who I was there with. He could have said, who, you know, I know you're appearing on the show. He didn't think I was a star. He knew automatically I wasn't a star. But I told him Red Savine, and he said, oh, man, that's my idol. And he started quoting Phantom 309, all those songs. And so I got him to go in there, and Red, the only way I could get Red to do the show was because Lou Rawls on there. So to see those two, it's like you know, on the beach when they run in.
Yes.
That's the way it looks. They both, but it's a big, Mike Douglas, Dinah Shore, all of those shows like that. And they're not much different than what we're doing in the studio today. They were not big studios. It was but I could go on a day about Dinah Shore. But anyhow, you said you had a degree in journalism, and you went to Boston University, is that it?
I did, yes.
Wow.
Got my degree in journalism and political science. A wonderful 4 years, a city that I consider my second home. I love Boston so much. Our Bruins start the Stanley Cup Series tomorrow.
Yeah. Let's hold it on that talk. I got a lot to talk about Boston.
Okay.
We got to go to a break.
Okay.
We're going to take a break, come back. We're going to talk more about Boston, and I guarantee you won't have any problem getting Fran Curry to talk about her. But we're going to talk about the Reds of Boston, Red Sox. There you go. Be right back. Stay where you are. Welcome back to Into Veterans Issues. We're talking about Fran Curry, the Fran Curry that we all know. And Fran, when we went to a break, we were talking about Boston,
Yes.
Massachusetts.
Yes.
And some of your favorite things. Now, before you get on to the other, I haven't talked to you about this, about the bombings of the marathon. Well, I know it hit you hard. I did see some of your postings, pray for Boston and things like that, but you wasn't elaborating on anything. Did you know anybody that was affected by that other than like you down here affected by it? You know anybody home?
I had two friends who I went to college with who were hurt that day. Seriously injured, but both survived. They were able to save both of their legs because both had serious leg injuries. And when I finally talked to them, I said, why were you at the marathon? Because when we were in college, we lived on Beacon Street, and we would sit in the window and just watch the marathon go by. And they said, well, you know, we wanted to go and experience it this time and not stay at home. And it was horrible. Things are still tough in Boston right now. People are very angry. I'm still very angry about it. I'm on so many levels. And the thing that hurts so much about Patriots Day is that is the city's day. It is everybody's day. It doesn't matter how rich you are, how poor you are, where you live. The little boy who was hurt lived in Dorchester, a poorer part of Boston. He never would be able to go to Fenway to the Red Sox game or a Celtics game or to Foxborough to a Patriots game or to a Bruins game. The marathon was everybody's. It belonged to the entire city, and anybody and everybody could go. And so his sister died. I'm sorry, his sister was seriously injured. He died, and his mother was seriously injured as well. And it was just so cruel to see that done to such a wonderful city that has had many of the same problems as Alabama. And I always say that Bostonians are so much like Alabamians. I'm surprised those boys live to be arrested because I fully expected my Massachusetts people to take them out just like we would. And so it hurts, really hurts.
Yeah. I had an experience of going there for some training from Waterford, and well, anyhow, I passed Harvard, and the people where I was staying there in Boston, a lot of the students were around, and it's a different world for people. I've been all over the world, but when I got my rental car, we had to go out of 9 lanes to 4 lanes to 1 lane, and when I left Anniston, they said, get you some of the other guys had been, get you some lighter fluid. Well, just get a can of lighter fluid. So I got a can of lighter fluid, but what it was for is to take a towel from your motel room and take that lighter fluid and wipe off the bumps that you get from these other cars, from those rubber bumps, you know, on their bumpers, because they'll hit you. You're going for a lane.
That's right. It's
and don't
vicious.
pull over. Don't pull over.
No. And if you're going through Callahan Tunnel, you just better keep moving, keep rolling.
Yeah.
And since I was there, they finished the big bridge and everything, which I hear is very interesting. But the best part about Boston is you don't have to have a car if you live there. I walked everywhere. We would rent a car to go to Cape Cod, and that would take an hour from the city of Boston. You can drive the whole state in 2.5 hours. It's such a short distance from one end to the other, unlike Alabama, to drive to the beach. So, I mean, there was a big learning curve there. My nickname in my dorm was Alabama. And the same friends, my nickname is still Alabama. I don't hear the accent, but apparently they do.
Well, I'll be darned.
I tell you what, I said, well, I love Alabama, and that's my home, my real home.
I talk to people, these service representative for various companies when I got a problem, and I don't talk like Alabama. And they're kind of frustrated. You say, you're from Alabama? I said, yes, I am. And then I switch over, yes, I am. You got That's what they expect us to do.
Exactly, they do.
But that reminds me of something. When you graduated from Boston U and you got a journalism degree, where did you go the first place you went for a job?
NBC 13.
Is that right?
It's the only place I ever worked, and got the first job I applied for, and I started there as a tape editor and a associate producer, and so I was there the whole time. I had 8 promotions, 10 raises, anchored every show at the TV station. I had 8 different news directors, and 6 different general managers, and and 4 different owners. But the best part of the ownership thing was when we were owned by NBC, and I am no longer a big NBC fan. But during that time, because the 90s were great, as most people will say, and we were well paid, we traveled well. I learned so much from some of the best people in journalism.
Well, there's another thing, you know, talking about going to see Brian Williams, those people. Working in Birmingham had a story a day. Sometimes there's a national story a day.
Right, yes.
You had the mayor had problems, and you had the state's I think senators and stuff like that.
Right.
I won't
The
go into
clinic
all the
bombing.
names. Yeah, they were just a lot of.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were just a lot of stories that came out of Birmingham. So it was not a story dry neighborhood, so to speak.
Right.
You had plenty of. So I remember that that you covered it. But there was one guy, and you and I have not talked about one guy that I liked there that seemed like he was a straight up guy. Roy Wood, can I say that?
Yes, you can. Yeah, Roy retired and is very happily retired. We're having a reunion now every year.
Oh, man.
And it's a good therapy session. You get to kind of put the bad in the back and remember the good. He's doing really well. He had open heart surgery right before he left 13. Almost died, but he is healthy. He's doing great. He has the most amazing train collection, model train collection you will ever see. So he spends a lot of time doing that.
I saw on his Facebook that I saw a posting of him some time back, and then I clicked on his name. There it was with him. But the one thing I think about Roy Wood is, you know, we as people sitting out here watching the Fran Currys, we develop ownership of you. I mean, we own the person we see on the evening news every day, and we want certain things from them.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we want more than they can give us, but the thing that Roy Wood was always believable.
Right.
He was honest and sincere. He come off. I've never met him,
And he is.
but I would like to shake his hand sometime and say, I really admired you. I'm not saying idolized, but I admired the man because the stories he covered were believable,
Right.
and they showed it came from the heart.
That's
Did I get him right?
You did. You got it perfect. I'll invite you to the reunion next year, so you can come and meet everybody. Meet Roy.
I did.
So yeah.
Well, I was on a blog the other day that you was on, and they was talking about some lady on there. They were just heartwarming stories by following your blog. And when I can get some time, I'll try to get on there and read some of the things. What is that? Your blog called?
It's actually a podcast, and it's called Eavesdrop. And it's a different one every week, and it's by a company called Big Brains Media, owned by James Spann, which gives it a lot of credibility right there because he's a very cool person. And so you can pull it up on my Facebook page. You can become my friend at Facebook. I see you're from this area. I'll accept you because I love you all so much. And but you can go to, it's also a Facebook page called Eavesdrop.
Just go Fran Curry on Facebook and see if she'll accept your friend.
And you can go straight to Eavesdrop from my page.
Before we run out of time, I got to know what's on the horizon for Fran Curry.
Wow, on the horizon. I'm extraordinarily happy right now.
Get back in the media, maybe?
Yeah, freelancing right now. And enjoying that, doing the eavesdrop thing, and that will turn into, we'll grow into.
Don't say eavesdrop on this show with what's going on in the country.
Okay,
No,
sorry.
kidding.
It's Eve like Eve in the Old Testament. Okay, how's that? Eavesdrop. Okay, and plan for that to expand and see where God sends me from there.
Well, I would like to spend about a 1 hour show sometimes, just me and you talking about life, because we both have so much the same. And we just about run out of time. Do you know we went through this whole show?
We did?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I can't help it. They're hollering in my ear telling me to get out of here.
Holler at him.
Fran, I really appreciate it, girl.
you.
I really do. And I love you, and
Love
I
you
will
too.
get you, hope to see your face back on camera somewhere else. Come back here again.
I would love to.
I got you on camera.
Okay, good deal.
We're going to a break. Come back. I got news that you can use, so stay where you are. Welcome back, and I appreciate Fran Curry coming in and doing the show today, and you got her on record. She will be back, so we got a lot of things to talk about. Got some ideas that we'll throw across the bow. I want to remind you veterans out there about your the license, that you can get your new driver's license with the word veteran on it. Just be sure and take your DD-214 with you, and here in the Calhoun County area. You want to go out to Jacksonville to the Highway Patrol Station out there, you can't get it down at the admin building. You got to go out there to get the word veteran put on your driver's license. There's a lot of reasons you might want to do that, especially for discounts at the places that, especially in November. Now, that House Bill 19 that had the disabled veterans homestead exemption tax has been passed. They took that bad stuff out of it, and we've got a good bill there. So check with your office down there, your tax office, to make sure you're doing okay on that. I know that I was going to have to pay nearly $400 more. In a couple of weeks, I'm going to have Oxford Police Chief on here, Bill Partridge, and we're going to talk about that new law enforcement tag that will benefit building the park up there. And it's a beautiful tag, and you folks get ready for that. And you may have seen in in the newspaper there's a huge need for drivers for the DAV van. The van leaves Oxford every morning and goes to Birmingham, takes the veterans over and comes back. They need volunteer drivers for that. So just give me a call and I'll put you in touch with Paul Brule, who's in charge of the van. And they really do. If you're going to do something for your country, you got veterans that can't drive and they need the van to take them over, but they got to have drivers to do that. So they've lost about 6 drivers here lately. If you're looking for work and you're a veteran, write this number down, 256-832-0147, extension 244. Now that's Sonny Miller, and I'm going to have Sonny back on here real soon. I've got people still ask me about him. He wants to be co-host of the show, but I'm not going to let him. Now over in Birmingham at your parking, remember this 2128 4th Avenue North, 2128 4th Avenue North. Somebody approached me the other day and said, are they going to be able to park in place over there for the veteran? No, not any time in our lifetime. According to the VA director, that they don't have it on the horizon for the next 20 plus years. And the HMR is still hiring down in Pell City. HMRveteranservices.com. HMRveteranservices.com is a website. Click onto the career tag and look at the jobs still available. If you want one of those canes, and before I came to here today, a fella called me from World War II. He was in landing at Normandy, and he wants one of those canes that Jack York made with an eagle on the top of it. And the phone number for that is 256-237-4743. And if you want to help us out with building the Law Enforcement Memorial, the Firefighters Memorial, and the Iraq and Afghanistan memorials for the park up there, you send your checks to Community Foundation, P.O. Box 1826, Anniston, 36202. You can send under $1 million today if you'd like, and we would sure be appreciative of that. By the way, the tag is going to go to help build those memorials, the law enforcement tag. This week's shout out, I got to get some shout outs in here. I missed them for the last 2 weeks. Greg Skinner, Chrissy at Publix, Charles Spears, all the folks out at IHOP. Love Miss IHOP, folks. Stan Sparks, my dear friend, the ambassador of Anniston, Betty Carr. And a big shout out to my fan club president, Ashley Mitchell. You're doing an awesome job, girl. Christina and Kim down at Home Depot. Big shout out to my little buddy, Caitlin, and her big sister, Bella. And this week's salute's going to go to Paul Brule for the many years of driving the DAV van. And here this goes. See you next week right here on Veterans Issues. Salute.